If I ask someone, what popular Genesis games do you remember from the 90s? They will probably say Sonic, Alex Kidd, and a few choice Disney games, like Aladdin or The Lion King. But there is always one that I personally barely see mentioned. That one, oddly enough, being Ristar. I have a lot of memories playing this game, and given that I'm younger than most, it wasn't actually on the Genesis per se. I remember playing it on Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection on the PS3. You know, the one that had all these borders that sometimes looked a bit ugly from what I remembered, but still appreciated.
Yeah, man, I actually really liked this game when I first played it, but I used to be really bad at it. But did do a complete playthrough one day on the same PS3 collection, and now it's probably been 3 or 5 years since then. What do I think of it now?
Well, first, some background. Ristar was a late Genesis platform releasing in February of 1995, and that right there is the first reason why this game didn't do well commercially. The Sega Saturn was already out in Japan and only 3 months away over here in the States, so most people were probably looking forward to that instead of this late lifecycle Genesis game release. Despite the self-made competition, most people who actually played it liked it. Sega magazine at the time praised it, saying that the game's gameplay, graphics, and music were good, but docked some points for the game lacking originality, in quotation, as the game to them borrowed things from Sonic, Dynamite Headdy, and Earthworm Jim. I've still never beaten Earthworm Jim. Maybe that'll be worth the video one day.
Especially if it means I get to learn whatever the fuck is going on in this footage.
Other review outlets like Sega Pro actually praised it for things it both borrows and does differently from Sonic. All these comparisons to Sonic aren't necessarily wrong either. The character itself gives off the same sort of vibe, and the game is colorful too, just like most of the Genesis Sonic games.
Also, we're not gonna talk about the fact that Ristar kinda looks like the Raisin Bran mascot if he had black arms and legs.
Just like Sonic, the music too, oh my god. Tomoko Sasaki is the composer of this soundtrack, and it's hard to imagine that with bangers like these that she was only a newbie at the time to composing. She also voiced the Chow in Sonic Adventure. When it comes to the actual character design of Ristar, he definitely stands out among all the Genesis platformers around that time, considering the fact that he looks like a scorched jawbreaker melted to the back of a star. Takumi Miyake designed Ristar, and jokes aside, I'd say considering the premise of the game and the fact that he had to design a star-shaped character with stretchy limbs somehow, he did a pretty good job. But that's enough about the background of this character and his conception. Let's talk about the story of this game, which is definitely something I'm going to have to explain. Honestly, the story of this game can be summed up pretty quick depending on the version of the game you're playing, which, yeah, that matters. In the version we got over here in the States, the opening cutscene has more text explaining that this guy, Emperor Greedy, has corrupted all the planet's leaders and enslaved all the inhabitants, including the hero of the universe, I guess. After sending a desperate prayer up, Ristar is chosen and awoken as he is the hero of the sun, and after defeating Emperor Greedy, peace is restored to the planets and their leaders, and Ristar see his now free father, who, if he looks anything like Ristar does, would probably be mad creepy to find floating out in space. Did all that sound like a lot to you? No? Well, the developer sure thought it was for Japanese audiences, because all that stuff isn't in the Japanese version, and seeing as I don't have a manual to read, I'm not sure if that's in that either. Which is funny, because the Japanese and American intros are the exact same except the text is removed. I didn't even know until making this video that the main villain had a name, except though it was right in front of my face the whole time all these years. I don't know, I guess I just never paid attention to that. But the look on my face when playing this game for this video, and I see at the end you see Ristar's dad, it was just like, what? Oh, okay, I guess. And Japanese players are going to be missing a fair bit of context from this, but none of it matters in the game though.
That being because none of that is mentioned in gameplay or shown in gameplay, besides at the beginning and the end. But let's start off first with the gameplay. It's a standard platform where you walk, you jump, standard things, but Ristar, as mentioned earlier, has stretchy arms that grabs enemies from a distance.
Honestly, with a look like that and a grip like this, you'd think Ristar would burst open his enemy's skulls or something with his hands, but nope, he just gives them and himself a mild concussion. Jokes aside though, it's honestly amazing how good it feels to attack enemies in this game. Outside looking in, it looks weird, but when you're in control, nothing feels better than just grabbing an enemy and objects and seeing Ristar traverse the environment. You can stretch your arms in 8 directions, but on a D-pad it's admittedly a pain in the ass when you're trying to be precise, but overall it works well. Every level also has these bonus rooms you can play if you find them, which showcases the game's mechanics really well, and gives you a lot of points. I mostly try to find these to try and get extra lives and to look at the strange objects I find in them. You'll definitely notice the many pulleys in the game, and at first glance you might think, ah shit, I'm gonna have to spin my finger on the D-pad, aren't I? But no, you actually can get Ristar spinning by just holding a direction, and he will automatically spin around the pulley. Once I figured that out, every pulley I touched was just this catalyst for me taking flight into the air and making those hype minigames at the end of the levels fun. For these, you want to use the pulley and try to launch yourself as high up before touching off screen as possible, and this will give you more points. Good for raking in those extra lives because you're gonna need them. Because being totally honest, this game gets pretty hard, so it's best to stock on lives while you can, because no doubt these bosses will not hesitate to take them from you. Like, geez, the bird in World 4 or just the gauntlet of fights near the end of the game had me on the edge of my seat. Just because dying meant doing it all over again, and this is a Genesis game. No more lives or continues means you're going all the way back to round 1-1, and that sucks. Thankfully, I didn't get a game over thanks to save states and observing the enemy's general patterns.
This is definitely one of those games to check out if you have the free time. It's not going to be this amazing masterpiece to everybody, but it's a pretty solid game worth checking out, all things considered. I'd say give it a go over the weekend, or weekday, or a day where you have the hankering to play a late 90s Genesis game. Well, that was definitely a shorter video than I would expect. You know that yawns can be kind of contagious sometimes. Yeah, these sections are more than likely going to be off the cuff, but that's fine. I mean, I think that kind of gives it a bit of charm. If you made it this far to the end of the video, thank you for watching, and I appreciate y'all. Got this new gaming computer, so now I can edit faster and all that stuff, and yeah, that's pretty cool. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, help the channel grow, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.